Let me take you to a myth, because I hear one of the arguments often is that undocumented individuals, they take more than they bring to the United States of America. Do you want to talk about that? Because I kind of heard you hint at it as far as benefits, et cetera. Do you believe that undocumented workers take more away from the government, or do they give more back, revenue-wise?
Well, I mean, obviously, if they're not paying taxes and they're not on the books and they're using any sort of government benefit, then they are obviously taking more than they are giving. I mean, that there's no way to say that they're giving more if they're not on the books, because the simple term of being undocumented means that you're not documented. When you get a paycheck, you're getting a check in cash, or you're getting a check from your company, but you're cashing it at a quick cash shop that's, at Walmart or whatever. You're not actually going down and putting that in where you're paying taxes. That's the whole point of them being undocumented. But but when it's different when you look at it just in a financial term. Yeah, absolutely. If they're not paying into taxes and they're using any sort of service, they're obviously taking more than contributing. When it comes to a societal point, for example, I was in my research for this, I was reading about a DACA recipient in San Antonio who came over here when he was 9. They moved him from Mexico. His parents were illegal. He went to school. He used, obviously, public school, used our benefits, but now he's contributing back as a software engineer and, legal citizen here, full citizen, dual citizenship in Mexico and here. I think that's where they begin to give back. And that would be the ultimate goal for what everybody in America should want. But if you just boil it down to day after day, if they're not paying taxes and they're using our services, if they're going to the doctor, if they're going to an emergency room, if they're driving on our roads, they are essentially using more than they're contributing.
And I understand that's your feeling, but let me read to you a fact. The National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine, they did the research. They actually compounded the data, analyzed the data, and they had some outcomes. Now, to me, it is a tragedy that those who support immigration policy, or those who support undocumented workers becoming documented through a fair, legal, and right now process, do not know this. But according to their research, what they found is that in general, undocumented immigrants still, with all of the finagling in the system, they still pay an estimated $11.6 billion a year in taxes in the United States of America. And that's also
seconded. Is that through sales taxes?
Hold on. Well, that's a combination of all taxes, correct. And that is, and let me tell you who decided to second that notion. The Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy. They agreed with those numbers. So you have two organizations that are typically adversarial in their political ideology agreeing that undocumented immigrants literally put more into the taxation revenue in the United States than they could ever imagine of taking out. So the problem is there's this false narrative that undocumented workers do not create a positive bottom line for the United States of America. That is contrary to the actual data of the economic reality. They create more revenue than they could ever take out.